Yes, welcome to the Make Ready podcast. I am your host, Daniel Tindall, and today I wanted to unpack a topic that I'm really passionate about, and that is coming to the table with your opinion with a topic and being able to sit at the table and discuss and not be offended to really try and force your opinion on other people, but instead to be like, yeah, I think I believe this, but let's have a look at it there. Let's question it and let's analyze it, and not just that with your own opinion. Like, we want to do this with people who have differing opinions, and it's about them doing the same with theirs. Let's put all these opinions in the middle of the table and let's look around it. Let's not be too attached. And that's easier said than done, right? Because we can get quite impassioned by opinions. I know I can. Some people take my passion about a stance on a topic as not being open to be challenged on it, and I think that's because in our culture, what we see of people with strong opinions is this heckling of others and being unwilling to either back down or to change their opinion. And this is what really bugs me about so much stuff, either in the media or the government telling us what to do. I don't like it, because if you look at how they act, look at the House of Commons. It's disgusting how they act. They heckle and jeer each other. There's a bunch of school children. That's probably really unfair on school children. But there's a bunch of children in adults' bodies in the House of Commons heckling each other. You see it in news. Like in news anchors and stuff. We see it on social media, like really strongly opinionated people who are just not open to scrutiny. And it's so important, so important that if we want to be mature, positive male role models, we have to be open to come to the table to talk about something. We have to be open to be criticized and not shut down emotionally or get triggered and react with anger. This is the path, in my opinion, of being a man, is being able to sit in that discomfort, hear something you don't like, and not emotionally react. Breathe into that. Name the emotion, like be aware of it. Like, I'm getting angry now. Okay, cool. What do I need to do about it? Probably need to breathe. Maybe I need to go for a walk, whatever it is. Not getting lured into or just tangled up in this division that we see so much everywhere. And I see it as so much on social media and on, as I say, the people who are supposed to be modeling better behavior, which they're not. So it's rife in society. Facebook, you see it on Facebook, who just end up sort of just bickering against each other and just being really rude, being obnoxious, and you see it across on Instagram as well, on all these social media platforms. People just being nasty to each other or getting overly triggered and overly accusational. Can you have a differing opinion and come to the table and analyze it? I have strong opinions about various subjects. I am so open to changing my mind on, as long as the other people are there to do the same. That we can come to the table, and in fact, I really welcome that. So, like, I want people who are more liberal than me to challenge me on my beliefs. I also interested by other people who are on the other side of me to hear what their point. And I've been really reflecting on this. And I say, this the left and the right are the two wings of the same bird, and this is an illusion of democracy. And although I still kind of believe that, because I feel like there's people pulling strings. However, what I feel is good about having the left and the right is it stops one way becoming too overpowering. The problem when people are so convicted that their way is the right way, that is exactly when you get dictators, and that is exactly when bad things happen. You look at like most communist leaders, I think often they're idealists. They want a utopian society, and it just doesn't end up like that. So I actually believe there's so much validity and importance of having these two sides, because ideally where we'll end up is more in the center, right? Is that as a society we land in the center. So that's one thing I've been really reflecting on. You may or may not agree with me, but that's okay. So having those two sort of contrasting opinions, hopefully, but it's also understanding the game that we're playing, and it is a game, and it's an illusion, and like this division, it's not about my way is right. And it's not getting dragged into that. And that's what they want. That's what the governments want. That's what all these political parties want. It's what everyone wants, is you to pick a side and get caught up in the mudslinging. Don't get in the mudslinging, people. Don't get caught up in it. Absolutely not. It's the worst thing to do. You don't want to get into it. And I can see it, and like I can see the algorithm trying to push me, in my case, to the right. And quite far to the right, and I'm like, I can see it, and I'm like, no thank you. And you have to be aware of how that plays, how social media is trying to radicalize you either to the left or the right. It'll be pulling you one way, depending on where your bias leans. You've got to be aware of this stuff, men, because if we're not aware of the impact that these media platforms can have on us, and the pure propaganda, your newsfeed will be so different, tailored on your attitudes and beliefs. It's scary. It's scary to see as well so many people, young men, being radicalized in their beliefs. It's having this ability to question a narrative and not be pushed to the extremes. And this is one of the problems in this day and age, and it's really bad in our society, is there seems to be topics now that are no-go. You cannot question these topics because they're off the charts. They're off the, like, obviously the Zionist regime, not allowed to question that, anti-Semitic. You can't question Islam because that's Islamophobic. You can't question gender ideology because that's bigoted and transphobic. What else? They're the ones on my brain. But what you can do is slag off Christianity as much as you want, and white people, that's a free for all. So it's interesting that there's these topics that we're just not allowed to address. But if you're male, if you're a Christian, that's like green light for going that. And I'm not saying that there's not people who are very biased and who are anti-Semitic and Islamophobic and bigoted and everything like that. But what I'm saying is, if you question any of these agendas at all, and the first response is, I'm going to call you a name, you're a conspiracy theorist. There's another one. If you don't believe the mainstream narrative, you're a conspiracy theorist. These are names to try and just dismiss you and shut down your argument. Put you in a box. I'm going to ignore you because you're this. And if that's not a way to just dismiss a whole group of people's voices saying, hang on, something's not right here, then it's part of the same problem they're trying to defend. They're trying to protect people from being persecuted while persecuting anyone who will challenge them. We saw it through COVID, and we can see it now with all the stuff that's going on in the world. We can absolutely see it with gender ideology. It's absolutely absurd with the vaccines, with anything. And the amount of times I've been called this and that and called names, and I'm like, okay, let's come to the table and discuss with me, please. Let's discuss it, because I'm open to be wrong. And I'm not even saying I'm right. All I'm doing is posing questions. And we live in a very weird world where a lot of this stuff we're being forced and told does not stand up to scrutiny. It doesn't. Because a logical argument gets shouted at with name calling. No, it's okay. Trust the science. Cool, let me look at your science. Science doesn't really add up. Your data's, you're picking things out of context. That's terrible. Give me some more. No, you're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, thanks. That's really helpful. Should we be teaching gender ideology to sub-10-year-olds? No. Why do they need to be spoken about this stuff? What are you trying to get out of it? How are you trying to influence them? What's your game plan? Why do you want to talk to our kids about sex and sexuality? Why? That's weird, isn't it? No, you're a bigot. You're a transphobe. Well, I'm not. Is me asking questions that potentially going to protect our kids? Is that bad? Is that wrong? What kind of world are we living in? Makes you think. If that is the stock response to challenging any of this stuff, and I'm not even holding, some of the questions, but I don't know the answer to this. And this is where compassion is weaponized. And I see this loads, and I'm even seeing this in the sort of coming into the church, that if you're not on the liberal side of things, it means you're not compassionate and that you're not a good Christian. And that's the narrative we're getting pumped in society as well. If you do not allow anything goes, then you're not compassionate. If you don't do this, then you don't care about other people. And it's just wrong. You can't just dismiss people's actions by saying they're a bad person because of X, Y, and Z. These one little measures. What kind of morality are you judging it on? If the highest moral standard is we let everyone do what they want, except from the stuff that... Who's deciding that? Well, it's the government. Well, we know how biased and corrupt the government are. Who are they to judge our moral standard? Who are they to dictate the moral standards? The problem is they've made everyone so fearful of speaking out. Why? Because they'll just shout them down and cancel them and call them names. Why not come to the table? And instead of shouting your opponent down, you sit very calmly and be like, okay, let's unpack this topic. But no, that's not how any of this operates. That's not how any of these organisations, any of these people come to the table and operate. And what I really loved about Charlie Kirk, God bless him, may he rest in peace, he came to the table, he was willing to debate anyone. You may not have liked what he stood for, but he was willing to debate anyone. You may not have liked how he come across or his viewpoints, that's fine. But he was willing to debate anyone. He literally had a table in front of him. Come to the table and let's debate. Debate me. Let's discuss. We need more of that. We need more willingness to be able to meet other people around the table, to change our opinions, to not hold our opinions so closely like this and just put them out a bit. Okay, let's have a look at this. Where am I wrong? Where could I be wrong? That's something I really like to think. Okay, where could I be wrong? I'm wrong more often than I like to admit. But it's an important process, and I really think if we're going to make the world a better place, if we're going to be better men, better leaders, better fathers, we have to come to the table. Openness and willingness to debate, to be wrong, to discuss, to sit in the discomfort of being challenged and to challenge. And it might be that we come away from that table with the same opinion, or maybe more confused, and just accept that, cool, we have different opinions. Is that okay? Normally, yeah, it's all right. But what I will not stand for is someone telling me I'm not a compassionate human being. I'm not a good man because I don't bow down, submit to their ideology or to the things that we're fed in the media. Because that is weaponized compassion. That is coercion, that is manipulation. And as a free-thinking man who has a family to protect and provide for, I don't believe that is the way. There is a way that I believe in, and that is in Jesus Christ. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And that's who I submit to. That's who my moral compass tells me what is right and what is wrong. And funnily enough, it's from his teachings that I'm able to sit at the table and love people who disagree with me, who may not even like me, who may hate me, because that's the way he taught. And I think he's a better role model than anyone else I can think of. So, that is my rant today. That is this episode. Wouldn't surprise me if I get asked by whoever to take it down, because subjects in there we're probably not allowed to talk about, but luckily this is a small podcast, so hopefully you liked it. Hopefully it was interesting. Hopefully it's inspired you to come to the table and sit in that discomfort of the challenge, of the willingness to go into life not with a I know. It's like, what can I learn? A learner's mindset will serve you very, very well and the people around you. Guys, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, please let me know. I went off on one, but interested to know what resonated and what didn't. And if you enjoyed it, if you know any other men who will enjoy it, please give it a like, give it a share, and tune in for the next episode. And in the meantime, keep showing up.